My back acne was really bad. Even on Carnivore, for that matter, it's not gone. And all it took was like a week of Cerule products, and already the bumps that used to be on my back don't exist anymore, which I was very impressed with.
And I was told I had about 5 years of vision left, and there was nothing they could do about it. I was 39 years old at that time. But at that time, I discovered the AFA-based product, and I started taking it. And 6 months after that, my eyesight was fully restored and repaired. It's the only company with this process. It's the only company that's allowed to use the process. It is patented. In terms of the Cyactive, what we can say is this product discourages the activation of both LOX and COX inflammatory pathways, and it is not associated with some of the side effects that the pharmacological versions of the same thing are. It's a great company. They're great people.
Pretty good chance I'm going to use this for the rest of my life. I have Bart K with us today, and he's going to be talking about Cerule, but there are some things that make me a little skeptical about Cerule, let's say. And I looked on the back of that Cerule pack, and you know what I saw? I saw concentrated vegetables. Wait, what? Some concentrated vegetable? Please, Bart K, what is that all about? That's not what a carnivore should be having.
No, quite right. Are you talking about this product here in particular at this stage? What you'll find in there is that there is extracts of 3 different things in there. The first of them is a blue-green cyanobacteria called AFA. Cyanobacteria are not plants. They are also not animals. They are a whole thing in between plants and animals. They're actually perhaps some of the more ancient forms of life available still on the planet. So no, not a plant. The second ingredient is an extract from a seaweed, a brown seaweed, which looks like a plant because it looks like, seaweeds look like plants. This particular brand of brown algae actually is not a plant. It's an algae, which is another thing, which is another whole group of organisms. So there's that. And the third extract is from spirulina, which is also a blue-green cyanobacteria. So there aren't concentrated plants, in fact, at all. There are actually 1 or 2 plant-based materials in the Stem Enhance, I will say, for now. Because on the 1st of November this year, the Cerule company has agreed that we can release the hardcore carnivore formulations for a carnivore audience. The things that are currently plant materials in the product are a cellulose capsule. That's made from cellulose. That's going, and it will be replaced with bovine if they're going to encapsulate at all. And the encapsulation agent is an inert, completely insoluble rice starch, I guess you could call it. That's being replaced with a non-plant substitute as well. So that's good. It'll be a hardcore carnivore product then. The same is true of the other 2 main oral supplementation products, Cyactive and Plasma Flow, in terms of the capsules and the encapsulation. And while we're on those products, Cyactive, an anti-inflammatory, that's also derived from spirulina, so not a plant. And this product here, Plasma Flow, is an enzyme preparation, such enzymes being extracted from mold, actually, it seems, which is not a plant either. And this one actually does contain some herbal extracts and things for some reason, but in the hardcore carnivore version, it won't contain those things. So there you go. Good question.
Wow. So they're making specifically carnivore Cerule products now, from what I hear. That sounds, I haven't heard of this. Please.
Okay. Well,
please
what it
tell
is,
me.
Yeah, look, what it is I'm really quite well acquainted with one of the 2 owners of the Cerule company, because I've been involved with him professionally in various different roles for about 15 years. And I'm getting to know the other owner now as well. Because what it is when you get to a certain level in the Cerule business is that Andy and Jono have the respect for that they talk to us about what we feel we need, what it is that we want, etc. And now my Cerule business is at a size and volume where I have a lot of pull, whereas previously I was having a tremendous pull, and they didn't necessarily feel like, well, if your business is a small business, then why do we need to cater for it? So what we've now shown them is that the carnivore captive audience is a massive audience, and it's a massive lot of business, and it's worth taking very, very seriously to meet the needs of the hardcore carnivore community. And Jono and Andy, the Cerule owners, have come to the table absolutely with the right attitude and said, yes, we want to work with you. We want to give you what you need for your people. So the release date is the 1st of November, and it starts in Australia and New Zealand only. That's the test market. I have to prove myself down here that I can move the stuff, and then they'll release it across the world at a later date once I've proven that, which shouldn't be a problem to prove it in Australia and New Zealand, where I do have a quite reasonable sized business. But actually, my Cerule business is mostly stateside and in Europe, vastly, as it turns out, because that's where my audience that watches my channel is mostly. So there you go.
Wow,
so, yes,
that's okay.
Yeah. So that's what's happening. They are putting together these formulations for us specifically to meet the needs.
Well, there you go. I mean, honestly, for me personally, I've seen some pretty amazing results, and I've only taken it for a week. In fact, I actually have a blood test for that matter that I did. Wow. And I did blood tests before and after 7 days, and I saw some pretty amazing things, honestly. I was quite impressed. I basically kept almost the rest of the environment exactly the same. For the most part, I usually just stay in my room. I do edit YouTube videos or all that stuff, whatever. But so it was easy to keep the environment the same. And the entire time, noticeably different blood markers, especially lower CRP, which I found a little interesting. So once again, some really, really interesting stuff. I think it's really interesting. And now that you mention it, the carnivore community having a benefit out of this as well, because that's personally something that, yeah, once again, I'm part of the carnivore community, and that's a lot about what my channel's about, right? It's literally just carnivore because it's the healthiest, or I think anyways, it's the healthiest option at this current point. I don't know a current healthier option. So besides that though, how exactly is the purification process done? Because I heard that they actually don't use a solvent for one of the processes. And I used to go into chemical engineering. Actually, I was going to go into chemical engineering. And I found that very, very interesting because I know extraction or sometimes separating some things can be quite a bit of a pain. So please tell me about that.
All right. Well, there are a bunch of people, including not a Dr. Michael Greger, this week making videos occasionally suggesting that AFA, which is that cyanobacter from which Stem Enhance Ultra is derived, AFA, says not a Dr. Greger, is toxic because it contains these hepatotoxins and neurotoxins. I've done a response video to not a Dr. Michael Greger yesterday, in fact, and posted it on my channel for people that want to go and have a look at that. But basically, what we have is a situation where Upper Klamath Lake, where AFA grows, is a vast 235 square mile lake on average, which has a maximum depth of about 20 feet, I think. It's really a puddle, a massive puddle, and it is the result of many thousands of years of volcanic material coming down from a higher lake in a volcanic crater lake at a higher altitude, and that water seeps through the wall of that volcano, or what's left of it, because it's a big hole in the ground now that used to be a much higher thing, and it comes out through the wall of that volcano in two streams which feed into the Upper Klamath Lake, this huge puddle. And as such, you've got all sorts of nutrients in there in a specific mix, and whatever that suits this breed of blue-green cyanobacter down to the ground. It also contains other species of blue-green cyanobacter, etc., that are really problematic, really toxic, really poisonous. And that's what Dr. Greger is talking about, those ones, because he's saying it's impossible to get AFA out of the lake without it being contaminated with this other stuff, this other species. Well, that's false. The company that harvests the AFA on behalf of this rural company is a joint venture situation with this rural company. They're called Desert Lake Technologies. Their patented process of harvesting is a means by which they can actually selectively harvest the stuff out of the lake and almost eliminate the harvesting of any of this other species at all. It's the only company with this process. It's the only company that's allowed to use the process. It is patented. Any other company that scoops AFA out of that lake and dries it and puts it in a bottle is subjecting people to the very real risk of these toxins. Yes. This company, in concert with Desert Lake Technologies, has this harvesting process that eliminates that almost completely at the harvest level. There is almost none of this hepatotoxin, neurotoxin, this other species. There's almost none of it in the raw material as harvested. The first step when they get it back to the factory off the harvesting barge is they put it through a filter, a mechanical filter that removes almost all of the very, very small amount that was left from the harvesting. So there's even less left now. Then it goes through a chemical filter, which you'll appreciate this, others may or may not. It's a resin bead column-based system. The hepatotoxin, neurotoxin are both charged and will bind to that resin chemically, thus being removed entirely, whatever was left, leaving none to speak of at all behind. Ergo, pure AFA, which has itself actually a level of those same toxins as well, but at such a low level as to not be a problem to anyone pretty much ever. The legal limit that the product has to stay under to be released to the public is less than 1 part per million of this particular species. The legal limit for the same exact species allowable in the same state of Oregon in tap water is 17 times higher at 17 parts per million. So you are 17 times more likely to encounter any of these problems from tap water than you will from the Cerule product, basically. Now,
so that already makes it safer then, huh?
Now, also just to close off on your other point, you spoke about the fact that any of these other companies that are harvesting this toxic mixture without being able to selectively harvest and without being able to filter it both mechanically and chemically, because they're all proprietary processes to this company, what they also do is they have to crack the shell of these cyanobacter in order to allow the ingredients to come out and work. And they're using solvents to dissolve those cell walls on those cyanobacters, like, butane or whatever it is. I don't know. Petrochemical solvents, basically. And so their products are also tainted with that. The Desert Lake Technologies company that works with Cerule, they have a completely different process. They freeze it in huge, massive walk-in warehouse size freezers to, minus a lot. I think it's minus 80 from memory.
Wow.
And what that does is it causes, have you ever put a soda can in a freezer?
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's what's happening with these little cyanobacter. You freeze them, the fluid inside them expands because ice is bigger than water and that cracks it open. No solvents.
Wow.
So it's completely an organic process and a physical process. And when we say there's chemical filtration, what we mean is chemicals are being removed, those toxic chemicals, using a resin bead column system. It's actually a reverse osmosis in reverse system, really.
I saw that video, the Cerule video where basically
so you'll hear that guy on that video.
That was pretty cool.
The guy that's explaining that on that video, you'll hear him say it's a reverse osmosis in reverse, and then you'll hear my dulcet tone saying, "So osmosis then." Yeah, I can't help myself. I've got to be a smartass wherever I am in the world. Yeah. So yes, I was at Upper Klamath Lake recently. I was there in Oregon. I met the vice president of the company that harvests the Desert Lake Technologies companies. Great bloke. We made some videos. It's on my channel if you want to look. It's called "How Are Cerule Products Made" or something like that. That's a good video to watch as well. Yeah,
honestly, I mean, I was amazed for that matter when I saw some of the things. I looked at that and I was like, wow, this is like, I mean, there's a lot of things that I wasn't originally familiar with. So I found that sort of cool, especially since I was basically doing chemical engineering over in the Netherlands at that time when I was doing chemical engineering. So once again, that was really, really cool. So what exactly is the benefit then of taking this? Let's say a carnivore does want to get his stem enhance. What exactly is that stem enhance going to do? Because I heard it says stem enhance. So does that mean stem cell enhancing or what's going on here?
Yeah, exactly that. So our bodies naturally renew, repair, grow, remodel, do stuff, make changes to our physical structure by releasing these things called adult stem cells. If you want to know the scientific designation of the ones I'm talking about, it's CD34 plus for those that are interested. These are what's called pluripotent adult stem cells, meaning they have all the genetic instructions of your body, your whole gene set. However, they're not specialized in any particular way. They are able to differentiate at a later stage into any adult cell line in your body, with the exception of sperm or eggs. And who wants those anyway? Not me. At least not at my age. Goodness, no. So that's what they do, basically. These adult stem cells are released into your bloodstream under the influence of this product, and they float around in your blood. While they're floating around in your blood, they exude lots of exosomes. It's a term you've probably heard recently with all sorts of silliness going on in the world. But these are packages containing messages, bits of RNA, bits of DNA, sometimes partial proteins, sometimes wholly formed proteins, actually, various different things as is needed. And stem cells are able, tens of thousands of these things an hour, to spit them out. So if they encounter tissue that's inflamed, they can send out anti-inflammatory messages. If they see cancerous tissue, they can go, you self-destruct. And then when they are grabbed, I guess, bound, they recognize that a cell is so damaged that it needs to be replaced entirely. They will bind to that cell, dissolve that cell, break down all the nonsense, recycle what can be recycled, and get the rest packaged up for elimination, and then differentiate. Sorry about the sound effects, but magically become a new heart cell, a new brain cell, a new toenail cell, toenail cuticle cell, anything but fucking hair follicle cells, apparently, is what these things become. No, it's not a medical situation. There's no reason my body would want my head to grow hair, so it doesn't care, so it doesn't fix it. But anything that, like any tissue that these stem cells recognize as being distressed, they can help. That's basically why this is so powerful. Okay. Your peak ability to release adult stem cells is about 18 years of age, give or take. Thereafter, every year, your ability to release these cells drops. It's part of the aging process. It's encoded for in your DNA. It's supposed to happen. It's one of the reasons that you become decrepit, age, fall to bits, and eventually are dead. What this product does is it basically works against that limitation in the release rate. It allows you to release them. Can you ever run out? Nope. Part of the release process of adult stem cells is that first, the cell that's permanently bound to the structure of the bone marrow where these things are stored, that needs to divide into two, and it's the daughter cell that's released, leaving behind the master cell, which is permanently locked there. Unending supply. You will die with the same number of adult stem cells you were born with, unless you get a huge dose of radiation at some point. Otherwise, that's
Does that mean X-rays or no?
No, a huge dose, like a thermonuclear blast that you survive. Something like that. Or exposure to a Chernobyl type situation, which you're going to die pretty soon after anyway.
Yeah. We just got to make sure anybody out there who's scared, who recently got an X-ray, isn't going to deny taking Cerule because they don't have any more stem cells.
A single X-ray is no huge deal in terms of the rads. No huge deal at all. Okay, so there's that.
So if that's stem enhanced, then what about the other two? Because I personally take two others, and I have autoimmune problems specifically. I have really, really bad autoimmune problems, actually. So what about Cyactive then?
That's all you need to know. It's all on the bottle. No, Cyactive is a blue pigment derived from spirulina. Now, everyone's heard of spirulina. It's supposed to be this superfood or something. It's nothing of the sort, actually. However, this blue pigment that comes out of the spirulina somehow serendipitously has the effect of knocking down or discouraging both LOX and COX inflammatory pathways. Cool. An anti-inflammatory from nature.
Very nice.
Not from pharma, and it doesn't have the side effects that the pharma ones do.
Oh, so that means that I'm not going to have to worry about getting any of these problems if I take it then. I don't have to worry about some sort of a side effect that I haven't heard of before, and then I'm just going to end up dead for no random reason. Okay,
so in terms of side effects, there are no known cases of people having serious side effects from taking Cerule products. You won't find one of those anywhere. In terms of interactions with other drugs, there are no known interactions between Cerule products and any of the pharmacy drugs either. There are no known contraindications to taking Cerule products, is what I'm saying. We also cannot make any therapeutic claim saying this is an indicated product for any particular reason. What we can say is that Stem Enhance Ultra is associated with the release of 25% more adult stem cells 2 hours post-ingestion of 2 capsules on average. That amounts to something like 4.5 million adult stem cells extra. That's where we have to stop. We cannot say, and that'll fix your knee or whatever. In terms of the Cyactive, what we can say is this product discourages the activation of both LOX and COX inflammatory pathways, and it is not associated with some of the side effects that the pharmacological versions of the same thing are. Isn't that great?
That's amazing.
It's awesome. That'll probably that combined with an actual anti-inflammatory, direct anti-inflammatory effect of this product, those two there, in your case, that would be the explanation in my estimation, my opine, to borrow a term that Ken Berry likes a lot. I would opine, he says, that that's the reason why your CRP's dropped. Straight away.
Oh, yeah. For anybody who doesn't know, by the way, if this wasn't on the recording before, I basically had blood tests before and after Cerule, and I basically kept the environment almost completely the same.
1 week is what we're talking about here. Yeah?
Yes, 1 week. So I had blood tests, basically. I had 3 weeks total. I had a blood test the first week. I had a blood test the second week. Basically, no Cerule on the second week. But at the very start, after I got that second blood test on the second week, I immediately started taking Cerule. And I noticed a 0.5 decrease in the CRP, which I was pretty impressed because considering my case anyways, it's usually pretty high.
That's pretty good for a week. Wait and see what happens after 6 months. What you'll find is...
I can't wait on that one.
Cool. And then the third of the important trio is called Plasma Flow. This is an enzyme preparation that breaks down fibrin deposits in your microvasculature, which Americans like to call capillaries. Your capillaries, they say. It's a good idea if you're going to release adult stem cells, etc., to clear the route which they need to be delivered up to the tissues, which is the microvasculature. If that's all plugged up with protein because you're inflamed, that's what fibrin is. It's an inflammatory thing. That's no good. So we need to clear it out of the way. So that's the holy trio. You've got release the adult stem cells, tone down the inflammation additionally on top of that with a specific anti-inflammatory on metabolic pathways. And thirdly, clear the junk away.
Which is exactly, for that matter, my routine. That's literally what I take. I take Stem Enhance, I take Cyactive, and I take Plasma Flow. And I've been taking it for about, I'd say, 14-ish days or so right now. I'm genuinely pretty impressed just how quickly it's working. Not only that, for that matter, I've noticed something that I've always had problems with. This is once again a personal experience thing. I used to have, my back acne was really bad. It doesn't, even on Carnivore for that matter, my back acne was improving. I also managed to get rid of my chest acne, but it was slow. It was really, really slow. I've literally been on for 2 years for that matter on Carnivore, and still it's not gone. It's slowly going away, slowly going away, slowly going away. And all it took was a week of Cerule products, and already the bumps that used to be on my back don't exist anymore, which I was very impressed with, because that goes to show me immediate, almost immediate anti-inflammatory effects. To me, that's amazing. So not only that, I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine what else it could help me with, honestly, at this point, because I have a lot more problems besides that. But that one was always pretty annoying for me.
Yeah, I've heard the rumors that you've got 1 or 2 problems.
Say that again?
I heard the rumors that you've got 1 or 2 problems.
Oh, yeah.
Dear idea.
1 or 2. Oh, that's an understatement. No.
All right. Now, listen, when folks go to your URL to buy their Cerule products, if that's what they want to do, important to understand that to get those 3 products at the best price, what you need to do is select to be a preferred customer and get them as a wellness pack on auto ship. That way you'll get 18 to 20% discount by way of a price break on the product, plus they will drop the shipping charge if you're on auto ship, which is a monthly set and forget order. If you're the sort of person, just by the way, who sees the value in that 18 to 20% discount, perhaps you'd be interested in a 100% discount.
Wow.
Goodness, I hear you all crying out immediately straight away. How do I do that? How can I achieve such a thing? 100, that's free. How can you give products away for free? Well, here it is. If you set up your auto ship for that, right, as an IBO,
right,
that is, you have to be an IBO to qualify for this. You can't do it as a customer. So you choose, I want to be an IBO, not I want to buy product. But then you talk to 3 people, ABC, auntie, brother, cousin, and you say, you need this, and you need this, and you need this. So there's 3 of this directly attributable to your activity because you've introduced them, you've given them your link, and they've gone and ordered from you. The company will recognize you for that effort of 3 customers by not charging you for your wellness pack anymore. as long as you have 3 active customers.
Huh.
So anyone that says to me, I can't afford the product, I say, yes, you can, because free.
So if you can get other people, and let's say I want my stem enhance, and I want my Cyactive, and I want my plasma flow, and if I get 3 of them on it, then I get all of mine for free.
Yes. Specific terms and conditions are covered in the detailed pay plan as a PDF in your back office, you Cerule IBONs.
I've checked that out.
Yeah. Basically, yes. So, I mean, the 3 3s gets you a 3 for free. 3 6s gets you 6 for 3. 6 6s gets you 12 for free. 12 is the limit on free product. But 12 is enough for any beer, basically. Even this one, hey, Ted? Ted? He was here.
Camouflage training again?
I know. Ted was not seen at the camouflage training. At least I've encouraged him to swear less by saying less, because every time he opens his mouth, foulness comes out of it, doesn't it?
Does Cerule cure that?
Can't do a thing with him.
I was hoping they'd do that too. Oh. Oh man. So when it comes to all of these 3 and basically applying them all in together, what are some of the effects, for instance? Because I've experienced some effects, but you've probably been on them longer. So what are some of the effects that you've experienced? Because I'm very curious about your experience if you've been on these even longer.
Yeah. Yes, I've been taking Cerule products and their predecessors held by a previous company before the Cerule company for 15 years. The Cerule company's been around about 8 years now, I think, in total as a new formulation, a new company. When I first started taking the product was at a time when I was diagnosed with advanced wet macular degeneration, and I was told I had about 5 years of vision left and there was nothing they could do about it. Suck it up, basically. I was 39 years old at that time, and I was told you're going to be blind by the time you're 45. That's just the way it is. But at that time, I discovered the product, the AFA-based product, and I started taking it. And 6 months after that, my eyesight was fully restored and repaired. I'm not saying it's cause and effect. I'm just saying that's what was associated with what. This all occurred before I went carnivore, by the way, so that's not a confound either. So that's out of there. Other things I've noticed over the years, progressively or whatever, is that I no longer have crippling fibromyalgia, which I had for about 5 years. That's gone. Associated with the Cerule product and the carnivore diet. I no longer have the bipolar thing I've struggled with for most of my life. And my mental health in general is in the best place it's ever been. As, by the way, is my financial health, another effect of being heavily involved with the Cerule business, just quietly. No, they're fantastic in terms of the remuneration and reward for effort and etc. And they have great promotions and great competitions and things that keep it exciting for everyone. And so there's good motivation we're not even a sales team, actually. Sales is not what we're about. We're just about educating people that stuff exists. And they go, well, I want it. And then their only decision is, do they want to pay for it as a customer, which we let them do if they want to, because it's great. Or we say, well, actually better for you if you don't pay for your product. Set up 3 customers as an IBO and get it for free. Anyway, sorry, what question was I answering? Because that was all off track.
What were the things that you've noticed?
Oh, yes, the eyesight thing.
To help with you. That's right.
The eyesight thing, the fibromyalgia thing. Also, I'm much, much better at staying on topic these days.
Oh, really?
I'm kidding.
Oh.
Obviously. What else? Oh, look, I had agoraphobia for a year in my 30s. No, in my 40s. That's gone. That hasn't come back. I had massive anxiety problems. Now they're almost a thing of the past. I very rarely have any of those kind of issues anymore. Yeah, just my general affect is, I think, better. I'm constantly told I don't look my age. You compare me to a peer group of people that were in the same school year that I was in. They're all old people, you know. Yeah, it's just been a hell of a ride in terms of just vast improvements in every aspect of life, really.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that sounds pretty amazing, because that sounds like a nice future for me, because I'd like all of my problems to go away, or a lot of them anyways, to go away as well. Because I mean, oh boy, there's a lot of them that I've definitely had, and I've noticed some very interesting improvements, oddly enough. So once again, I'm glad to see that you've taken it for such a long time. I don't see any problems anyways. And lo and behold, you've managed to get rid of so many of these problems. Man, that's amazing. So when it comes to, though, the company, because I know many people as a general rule, are always very skeptical, and they're always thinking that companies are evil, for instance.
Yeah.
All companies are evil. They're
Yeah.
out there to get you.
Yeah.
What do you have to say to all the haters out there?
Well, all companies exist for their bottom right-hand corner, don't they? To make a profit at the end of the tax year. Absolutely. Cerule is not a faceless corporation. As I said earlier, I am very well acquainted with one of the owners and getting much better acquainted as we get along now with my higher level of success in Cerule with the other one as well. They're both fantastic people with huge hearts and with the motivation to provide people with an opportunity to do something about their health status and their wealth status if they choose that route. Because it's one of these opportunities that's open to anybody. You don't need a CV. You don't need to pass a interview. You can have the job if you want, because what you're actually doing is you're becoming an independent business entity involved in educating people as to the existence of Cerule products, not sales. Okay. Obviously, at the end of the day, the goal is to sell the product, but we do it by not selling it. We do it by just telling people it exists and what it is. And they go, shit, I want that. How do I get that? And I say, well, there's two options you can buy it. There's two different prices you can buy it for. Do you want the expensive one or the cheap one? Oh, the cheap one? Well, then would you like it free as well? Yes. Okay. Well, don't be a customer then. Be an IBO, get 3 customers and get it for free. That's the process of building a sphere of influence of people using the product on a monthly repeat basis, which also sets up a residual passive income. Now, that income starts small, absolutely, because everybody starts at 0 points per month. And as you build up a network of people that all you've really done is educate them to the existence of the stuff, and they've gone, I want that, and they've gone and bought it in some capacity, and they've used it and they've gone, shit, it works really well. This is awesome stuff. And they tell people about it, and that's what happens, right? So Jono and Andy have given us that opportunity, each of us. You have the same opportunity I have to build a business as large or larger than mine if you want to. It's based on your efforts of educating people. And I guess your teachability, because I actually have a script that works really well, because I have one of, if not the fastest growing Cerule organization in the world, I think.
Oh, wow. That would, the carnivore community behind you, I think that would probably...
Yep. So there's that. So, not only have they provided an organically certified, absolutely clean product in terms of the chemicals and everything involved in the process, because there just aren't any, right? They've also supplied us with a business opportunity if we want one, and there's no pressure to take that opportunity up if you don't want that. It's no skin off my nose. But here's another example of just kind of like the ethics of these people. A couple of years ago, there was a global Cerule competition for IBO members, independent business owners like myself. And the competition was around recruitment of new customers. When I say recruitment, it wasn't a recruitment competition, because you couldn't recruit a customer who didn't buy anything and get credit for that. For this competition, you had to move product, right? So ostensibly it was a volume creation promotion, and the prize was a free trip to Hawaii for the winner. There was no second prize, none listed, none advertised. There wasn't one. You had to win it to get it. Well, I won it, long story short, in a competition that went down to the wire with a woman from French Guiana who was at my heels the whole time. It was a real competition. It was so close for the global rights to, this competition and to go to Hawaii on the company. Here's what Jono and Andy did. They got the both of us on a live stream for the rest of the IBOs, and this is the presentation of the awards ceremony sort of character. They love doing that. It's about recognition and stuff too, and great. And they said, right, well, here was the winner. Congratulations. It was a close run thing. But because you were so close, they said to this other woman, guess what? We're taking you as well.
Wow.
There was no requirement for them to do that. They'd never promised that. They never said they were going to. It was just a recognition for what she had done, which was got very, very, very close to actually toppling the world recruiting champion. So, awesome. Another example, Cerule have just hired a new person in charge of global growth in the Cerule business, a kind of, training advisors at corporate level. And he found out about a bad travel experience I'd had with Cerule. Not Cerule's fault, it was the airline. And he dealt with that by handing me his first class ticket and taking my cattle class ticket for a short haul flight in the States and saying, you go and sit up there and enjoy it. I'd rather sit back here and talk to the other IBU. So I was like, cool. That kind of thing. So yeah, it's a great company. They're great people, and they recognize people commensurate to to efforts and teachability, because those are the two important things to us. Yeah, I haven't come across a single problem with this company. They've been awesome.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. Honestly, once again, I mean, I'm very, very glad. I'm so glad I managed to run into them basically through you, for that matter. Because otherwise, I probably wouldn't have been able to change my blood test results very quickly and quite literally see it in my blood test. Not only that, see my back acne as well by literally seeing how quickly and the inflammation is going away so quickly. And as well, some spots on my face. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing, honestly. So I'm pretty impressed. And that's exactly actually the main reason why I became an IBO. Because I looked at that and I went, their product is so good already. And I've already noticed within 1 week, like significant results. And quite literally, not just significant results by looking at it through the mirror, but also through the blood test where I can literally see numbers. So I look at that and I go like, there's something clearly going on here, because I recorded it and I know I recorded it. So the second I saw that, I went immediately, I have to become an IBO because I want this product for free. That's quite literally the main reason why I went about this. I looked at this and I went, I know I want to use this product more. So clearly, because I want to use this product more, I'm going to need to get people to know about this more, because I want it for free myself, because it's just that good.
Yeah.
So honestly, is there any, by the way, downside, for instance, let's say it says take 2 capsules and I take 4 capsules.
Right. Okay. There is no known toxicity level for this product. You can take as much of the stuff as you want to. You do need to know that there is a diminishing returns increase in adult stem cell release as you increase the intake of Stem Enhance, for example, such that 4 capsules provides just less than twice what 2 capsules does, and 8 capsules is less than twice 4, to the point you get to 16 of these capsules and there's no further driving of the effect any higher from there. It's flatlined by that stage. So yeah, you can take up to 16 a day. Of course, if you were paying for that, you'd go broke pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But if you've got a reasonable number of retail customers who they're people you educated about the existence of Cerule, and they went, I want that, but I'm not going to be involved in that thing. I want to be customer. I want to pay for it. So we just say that's great. We let them. We love our customers. That's where we get our sales, immediate sales markup from. And there are 6 other income streams that the company pays to us as well, including at the level I'm at now, for example, there's also shares in the global sales pool of everybody in the business, whether they're in my organization or not.
Oh, wow.
So I get a small kick out of the global sales. So that's another thing that you can look forward to, is these 7 different incomes that you can earn through this Cerule business. Now, you're a young person. Am I right to assume your youngness?
Quite young. I am 24 years old. Not necessarily around my 50s. Well, not yet anyways.
Right, yes. See, the thing is, I personally, this is what I've done, and you could do the same if you want. There's nothing stopping you. Over the last 5.5 years, I have educated people as to the existence of Cerule about 3 times a week on my YouTube channel for anyone who will listen. A number of whom have gone, I want that too. Some of whom have gone, I want it slightly cheaper. And an even smaller proportion of whom have said, actually, I want it for free and I'm going to join the team. But 5.5 years later of doing that, all from this chair, by the way, I now have, as I said, one of the fastest growing Cerule organizations in the world. I've been kind of global champion of these competitions multiple times over the last 4 years, and not wanting to be gauche or anything, but let's talk about it. It is a mid-range, passive, 6-figure income. Now, if you did that in the next 5.5, let's say 6 years, you'll be financially set by the time you're 30. You could do that. So could anybody watching this video, unless, of course, you're older than 24, in which case you'll be about 5 years older than you are now if you just do what I did. A lot of people say, oh yes, but you're you and I couldn't do what you do. You don't need to be a carbon copy of me. You don't need to copy what I'm doing. You set up your social media talking about whatever it is you're expert in, and you use that platform, you leverage that platform with people who are interested in hearing about your expertise in model electric trains or whatever it is. And frankly, if your interest is model electric trains, then your audience is going to be absolute sitting duck candidates for Cerule products, aren't they? All right. So you might as well mention it. You might as well mention it to your people about 3 times a week. and see what happens.
Yeah, honestly, I've actually already made, I think, 2 videos talking about Cerule just because, one, I think that honestly, the main reason for me, for that matter, doing it, and I like to be transparent about things, and I like to literally just show them quite literally what I'm doing and the reason why I'm doing it is because I just want the product for free myself. That's the main reason. It's nice to have extra income. Don't get me wrong. If I can get to that point, I would love that. But free product for me, I mean, that sounds amazing. Because this stuff works really well. And I already know I'm going to probably pretty good chance I'm going to use this for the rest of my life unless I find a better alternative. I mean, it's pretty difficult to not immediately see those results on my blood test and on my back and go, something's going on here. Something's clearly changing. And for that matter, even cognitive function as well. A couple other things. But regardless, really, really amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah. I even show
your mileage will vary, by the way, dear viewer. Your mileage will vary. Your experience will be individual.
Yes. Honestly, it's amazing because I even talked to Eddie Goki, for that matter, on this as well, and I was amazed on his story, and I was like, man, there's really something here. There really has to be something here, because after talking with him for a bit, and I also have another interview with him for that matter scheduled, I think about 5 days from now. I saw that and I was like, his story of going from literally bedridden almost to being able to move better is just, to me, that's amazing. That's really amazing. So, I mean, it's, I'm quite impressed. I am quite impressed. So out of curiosity, because this always got me I've gotten a little curious by this. How did you find them in the first place?
Right. What happened was I was looking for something to do professionally at that time. I was between gigs, and an ad appeared in the local newspaper suggesting that a nutraceutical company was looking for a scientific advisor to travel around the major centres of New Zealand and Australia on a 2-week turnaround to basically instruct the distributor force, their IBOs, on how to do the thing. So I was employed corporate by that company as an employee, as a wage slave, to fly around and tell their IBOs who are building their freedom how to do it. I did that for about a year, and then I met a girl from Yorkshire, and I went to the UK with her, and they didn't have the work for me in the UK. So they said, would you like to be a member of the IBOs team now? And I said, sure. And I did enough to get myself some free products, and I sat there and did nothing for years. And then it was only about 5.5 years ago that I decided, I might as well talk about this stuff on my YouTube channel, because my YouTube channel is not paying me what I thought it was going to. I was going to be the best YouTuber and make millions out of YouTube.
What?
I know. No. So I thought, stuff it. I might as well talk about this stuff because it's good and it's changed my whole life. And I think I'm being a bit selfish by not actually mentioning it, because I was also going to have a clean YouTube channel. I wasn't going to promote anything. But anyway, as soon as I mentioned Cerule and what it is and where people get it from, my business just exploded from there, and the rest is history. I will say that I had built a relationship with my audience first for several years before I mentioned Cerule. And I don't know if that's important or not in this particular, plan, but I don't think so. So long as you can get people to the right source of information about the stuff, you're going to win.
Yeah. Honestly, wow, it's pretty amazing for that matter. You've done, oh my God, it's only for the past 5 years that you actually started to talk about this, and it's already blown up that well, huh?
Yeah. So ostensibly what I'm saying is I was basically a retail customer and not much more for 10 years before I started building the business, which is daft. I wasted 10 years.
Wow. That's impressive. I'm impressed. I mean, so out of curiosity, what are some of the other things that you've heard people say Cerule, or it seemed as if it correlated with helping them with? Because for me, it's, and Eddie, obviously, there's some really amazing to Eddie, for that matter, has it way better than I do. Because I mean, that's a 180 transformation. If you don't know Eddie Goki's story, in my opinion, you should really go check that out, because in my opinion, his story something else. So what else have you heard about it? Because I'm really curious myself now. Like, what are the other things?
Well, look, you name it. Basically, if it is a cumulative wear and tear disorder, dysfunction, breakdown of function type illness or complaint or condition, then there is the very real likelihood that additional adult stem cells will be helpful if not completely ameliorative. So there are all sorts of conditions and complaints that people say, I had that and now I don't, associated with taking these products.
Once again, that's amazing. Yeah. So anybody out there, if please click on my link so I can get free Cerule, because I really love this stuff. That's basically the main reason why I actually chose to do this in the first place. I looked at it and I was so amazed at the results. And I'm going to be honest, that's what I want. I just want free product. And as you might have already seen, for that matter, on my YouTube channel, and how much money I'm actually willing to spend just to actually make like decent quality YouTube videos and try to teach you guys, I spent around 2.5K minimum, and that's out of my own pocket. And I'm really willing to just make quality videos for people to learn. And this is, for that matter, part of it. I really want you to learn just how amazing this stuff is, for that matter, because for me, it's been pretty amazing. And for anybody out there who's saying like YouTube pays a lot, okay, so I've invested 2.5K and I've got $320. So just to let you guys know, this is not something when it comes to money. I genuinely just do want free product because it's that amazing. So yeah.
All right. So there you go. Teach him a lesson by having so many people going and signing up that he's making lots of money, so that he realizes that he really does want to make lots of money as well as just getting free product. All right. I've got to go. It's been great. Let's talk again soon, I guess.
Another time.
Yes. All right. See you then. Ciao.